Just west of Los Angeles, California sits 5 islands, referred to as the Channel Islands. They are about 32 miles from the coast, which isolated them just enough to preserve their natural beauty. One of the larger islands, Santa Cruz, is currently protected by the Nature Conservancy and the National Park Service. It is 96 square miles in size. 10,000 years ago, American Indians who lived there were known as the Chumash. The Spanish landed around 1600. When California became a state in 1850, the islands became part of the U.S. In the 1800s, a San Francisco businessman bought the island and allowed it to be turned into a ranch. In 1864, there were around 24,000 sheep on the island. The island was then sold in 1869 to a group of investors, and they continued to raise livestock and run the ranch on the island. Edwin Stanton bought the majority of the island in 1937 and switched from sheep to beef production. He built buildings and set up fences on 54,000 acres. Eventually, the family gave up the property and it became a national park in 1980. On to the tractors. In the 1890s, horses pulled wagons, carts, hay rakes, mowers, plows, cultivators, seeders, drills, and harrows. The first tractors were a pair of Waterloo Boys brought over by barge in 1918. W.L. Cleveland Company of Los Angeles sold them for $1,450 each. The tractor was a 2-cylinder putting out 12 horsepower at the drawbar with a 460 cubic inch engine, 7.6 liter. The Waterloo Boy was made from 1917 to 1924. The Waterloo Boy Company was of course bought by John Deere and became the first official John Deere tractors. Alonson Swain, who worked for the Santa Cruz Island Company, said about the Waterloo Boy, "It runs the farm equipment nicely, but there is a lack of enthusiasm among our men. Not sure why. Too new maybe, or temperamental to run." All that remains of the tractors today are the radiator, the main chassis, and one of the front wheels. The 2 back wheels were buried when they built the pier and were used in its construction as filler. There is nothing more intriguing than looking at the rusted hulk of a track-type machine, and there are not many makes of crawler as well known as Caterpillar. The Caterpillar 30 was brought to the island in 1938. Famously, as it was delivered from the barge to the shoreline, one of the wooden planks spanning the divide collapsed, and the machine tipped over into the sea. Using ropes and a block and tackle system, the tractor was pulled up, using a big rock as an anchor point. The Caterpillar 30 was manufactured between 1925 and 1938. The machine here was made after 1931 because it was originally painted yellow. Initial models were gray. The machine is a holdover from the original Best Company and its model, the Best 30. It has a 461 cubic inch engine, 7.6 liters. The Cat 30 was used in grading roads around the island and in constructing buildings. It pulled a road grader to construct an airfield in the late 1940s. In the 1950s, a second set of tracks was brought over by boat for the Cat. There are parts scattered about, including an extra radiator. The Oliver 70 shown here was built in 1946. The Model 70 was manufactured between 1935 and 48. It came to the island around 54. They had a 200 cubic inch engine, 3.3 liters. These 6-cylinder machines were smooth to operate. They were also styled smoothly and attractively. In addition to pulling farm equipment, they also ran the well pump when the main power unit went down, running a large belt from the belt pulley. They did have a second Oliver tractor here as well in the 1960s. This is a Godfriendson truck that was made in Canada in the 1920s. There are the remains of random pieces of agricultural equipment scattered around the island. If you take time to hike the trails to the highest elevation on Santa Cruz Island, you will come across the remains of oil well drilling equipment. Situated at the top of a hill, oil was pumped from the ground and sent down in pipes. If you would like to visit, head to Ventura, California. From there you can travel by boat to Santa Cruz, one of 5 of the Channel Islands. You can stay overnight in your own tent at a primitive campsite and make friends with the little foxes that live there. And good luck getting water without being stung by yellow jackets. If you search for the Channel Islands, include the word California in your search, or you may be led to the British Channel Islands instead.